Why did you call it Odin, by the way? Odin for me is a god from the Norse mythology.
Yeah, it's the god of exactly. Is Odin is optimized data integration network. The logo of Odin is the god of the Norway. Yeah.
Odin might be a god in Germanic paganism, but for Claudia Báez, a digital innovator and co-founder of the Colombian investigative website called Cuestión Pública, Odin is her baby. She created this AI-powered tool to help her team of journalists stay relevant to the current news agenda, reach different audiences, and of course save time and money. How does a team of mainly female journalists not only investigate powerful and often corrupt politicians, but also brings their wrongdoings to the public eye again and again, using every news opportunity to highlight who those politicians really are? And how do they try to stay ahead of the game, coming up with new formats for investigations that took years to complete? I talked to Claudia about this and much more, so maybe you as a storyteller anywhere in the world can be inspired and apply some of these insights to your everyday professional life. Let's dive into it. Let me start by asking you, so what's the most exciting thing about using AI in a storytelling journalism context for you personally?
For me, it's a huge opportunity to optimize time and resources, and also to be more creative and strategic in new ways to do journalism and create content.
What is the most challenging thing for you? So, I mean, exciting thing is to basically optimize your time, save time. What is super challenging in using AI?
I think that in journalism frequently happens that there is a trend and journalists want to jump on the trend for not to be delayed. And that's a huge mistake, because AI is a tool, is an assistant, and the first step is to focus in a problem, a real problem that you want to solve. And you're going to find the solution with AI, because it's powerful, because it's disruptive, because it's a powerful tool, but it's not using AI for using AI. It's using AI with a purpose.
Yes, it's good that you mentioned that, because when I work with a lot of newsrooms as a consultant now, so, and especially with smaller newsroom in the global south, and the first question I think people should ask, so why do we use this tool? Because how can we benefit our audience? What exactly we're trying to solve? But I see how newsrooms basically try to compete with each other, and everybody's using AI. Let us use AI. Doesn't matter what. Let's just quickly, otherwise we'll be left behind. We will come back to this question. Tell us more about Cuestión Pública. It is a small newsroom, investigative, data-driven website. Tell us more about it. What kind of investigations do you focus on?
Cuestión Pública is an investigative media outlet, independent media outlet based in Colombia. We cover corruption and abuse of power, human rights violations in the country. We are a small newsroom, only 19 people, mostly women. And we're trying to make innovations in the way that investigative journalism is consumed in Colombia or in the region. It's just how can you innovate in formats and news apps and gamification, new ways that investigative journalism can go abroad of the niche of investigative journalism and go to new audiences, to young audiences, in order to that they take better decisions, better decision making in the democracy in Colombia.
You basically created your own AI tool called Odin, right? Why did you decide to create your own tool? Why didn't you use so many other available tools? So what is so special about this Odin tool you've created, and what kind of problem does it solve?
Odin is an AI tool created by Cuestión Pública to solve a specific problem for investigative media outlets. When you are doing investigative journalism, you spend a lot of time doing the investigation, right? So you are not in the media agenda or you are not relevant to the media agenda or your audience because you are not publishing in the day-to-day, right? But before to create Odín, we manually, when we saw something in the current events happening in Colombia regarding politicians or political elites or companies that we have already investigated, we created a content in native digital content in X or in Instagram or wherever, just to jump on the media agenda and be relevant, right? So that's why we create Odín, that is an AI tool that connect current events with our previous investigation. This is a philosophy of zero waste in investigative journalism, right? So it's just how can you take advantage of your previous investigation that have you did for 7 years, right? Take it to life
and make it relevant again and again, because in a way your investigations, these are evergreen content, right? So what we called at the BBC pillar content. So you basically you can recycle it, but you need to find a time when to bring it back to attention.
We have a huge databases, right? Structured information. So we created 2 huge data-driven investigation. One of them is Game of Boats. It's inspired in Game of Thrones. This is the patronage system of political families in Colombia that control the territory with money and power, and don't allow new leaderships come up to these territories. And the other one is We Know What You Did Last Legislative Period. That is an Instagram with investigations to the politicians, to the Congress members of Colombia that was that they were chosen by our audience in a public survey. So we investigate these Congress members, their assets, conflict of interest, network, everything. Odín connect current events with this information that was vectorized, embedded. So it's an interface, it's a private interface that could be only used by Cuestión Pública journalists. For instance, former Congress member have been investigated by the Supreme Court because of a corruption case. So they put this headline in Odín, and then they pick up the people, the Congress member that we have already investigated that is in our database.
Basically, Odín saves you time. Through all this database, it quickly gives you the gist of the information about a certain person.
Exactly. But because this is a Congress member that we really investigated in deep investigation, we have many aspects, for instance, assets or contracts or family business, or, so for this kind of people, that is really it's a huge investigation. Odín take all the findings, journalistic findings, and make a ponderation, a weight, saying, okay, this is more important because this is more related with the context of the headline. The headline is corruption, so I'm going to put in the first step, in the first line, all the cases of corruption that we have about this Congress member.
Those people must be terrified, because every time now they pop up in the news for something different, you can kind of pigtail and say, oh, but you did this and that and that.
Exactly. We know what you did last legislative period, and we know what they did. So we bring context. The other media is gonna register the same news, Yeah. This Congress member has been investigated by the Supreme Court, but the only media that is gonna bring who is this man? And what he did is Cuestión Pública.
How would you describe your target audience? Who are the people who actually come to your website directly? Or who is your loyal audience?
Our loyal audience is mostly men, and but we are trying to
diversify,
reduce
you are the gap of women as well. Yes.
And in the beginning, when we started in 2018, that was mostly like 70% of men. Now it's like 55.
Because it's actually normal that in other newsletters as well, and that men are more interested in the kind of the investigative and all that, and have time for this as well. I am more interested about, like, can you give me a portrait? What is it, an expert? Is it another journalist, another expert who is interested in these kind of things, who can use it in his or her job somehow?
Okay. For instance, Game of Votes on We Know What You Did, last legislative period, it's young people, and you have this is the target of our audience. It depends of the format that when you deliver the investigation. We have the traditional product that is for the decision maker. We have content that is only for social media, and we are arriving to another audience, right? So it depends of the product.
So this AI tool, Odin, can it be used by other journalists, by other newsrooms?
No, it's only for Cuestión Pública right now because it's our investigation that is structured, right? But we aim to in an evaluated tool, but we gather more money to invest on this tool. Try to other newsroom use the same methodology to take all the information that they produce in all their platforms, just translate all this information, try to consolidate a database, a vectorized database, and try to recycle all the premium information, because for some media, they are just publishing, daily, and there are no like this kind of data that is gold. This context, or this when you connect really the dots and everything. It could be for any media, but we need to develop the tool, and we need money to bring them to the next step, Odín.
Claudia, so what are the main challenges and expectations from AI-powered tools in your newsroom? What do your journalists tell you? So, we want this, we want to achieve this. What is the main kind of challenges and expectations?
Facilitate the life of journalists, investigative journalists. Investigative journalists, we have a lot of pressure, and a lot of challenge in terms of emotions, and also all security problems, and there are so many things in our life happening by doing investigative journalism. So for me, AI is a tool for make easy life of investigative journalists and journalists in general, just to save time for you, for your family, for to focus in the important things, and stop to wasting time in things that an AI could do for you.
So would you say that Odin and other AI tools your newsroom uses, how much time does it save you percentage-wise?
For a manual process of 3 hours, it reduces to 15 minutes to edit.
And apart from time, does it do anything else, any other efficiencies? Because again, I think when you just started to create this tool, you ask yourself what kind of problem we need to solve and how this tool will help us to solve this problem. But anything else apart from optimizing time?
I think that can help you to arrive to new audiences, because when you're independent media, you don't have a large audience, because you don't have so many resources to create so many products for a specific audience. So AI can help you to any content that you have, can take any format, any package, you can deliver to so many publics in so many formats in a easy way that can help you to scale the media.
So you basically use an AI tool to repackage your content in different formats, and giving it an assignment. Okay, aim it at this kind of audience. Aim it at this kind of audience.
Exactly.
And also platforms, right? Because platforms have different styles and formats as well.
Exactly. So you can use it for any platform, any kind of format: video, text, voice, and a podcast. I mean, there is so many possibilities, and it's cheaper. So it's a really good tool, but you have to know why are you using it and what is the problem that you have, before to jump on it. And there is another thing that I didn't mention it regarding Odín. It's we are using RAG, that is a retrieval augmented generation. This is the kind of methodology that I told you that say to the AI, don't include what do you know regarding internet, just focus on my information. And the other one is fine-tuning. That is a methodology that allow Odín to adapt the voice of Cuestión Pública, the voice when we communicate with our audience. That the voice of Cuestión Pública in social media is acid, is sarcastic. Odín took that voice when they generated the draft of the thread in X, right?
That's interesting.
And that is something that is make Odín so special.
Claudia, so when you co-founded Cuestión Pública in 2018, what kind of problem did you want to solve, or what was your idea in your head? Because you knew by that time, of course, how difficult it would be and how many problems you will encounter, etc. Why did you do this?
We are 3 business partners, 3 co-founders of Cuestión Pública, and the problem that we identify when we funded this media outlet is that investigative journalism is not sustainable. That's the problem that Cuestión Pública trying to solve after 7 years, and it's not easy.
Not sustainable, it means you can't earn money with your content. You have to, because I think most of your funding comes from the donors, right?
Donations and international cooperation. 87% of our income comes from international cooperation.
So what does success and impact mean to you as an organization, and how do you measure it?
Yeah, we have many ways to manage, to measure our impact. One of them is 13 investigation of Cuestión Pública has open processes, sanctionatory or criminal or that kind of process in prosecutor office organs that make control in the state. There are many entities of the state that open in cases, judicial cases or statutory cases or criminal cases based in our investigations. And that's important. The second one, it's that our investigations has been included in bills and the Congress. That they create a prospect of bill and they included information of our investigation, right? The other one, we have mentioned it for international media, like Washington Post, New York Times, The Guardian. That kind of impact is how we measure our job.
Great. I hope that keeps you going, right? Because it's not an easy job. My heart goes for you, Claudia. I know it's not an easy job. So kudos to you that you're doing it as a woman as well, and you have so many other things to do in your life, basically, right? And you still persevere. I'm really interested in access to AI, access to technology, and now the cutting edge technology in Colombia and wider in Latin America. What are your observations? What is the access? Because you travel a lot as well. You often go to the US. So even compared to the US or to Europe, what would you say? Journalists in Colombia, do they have good access, same resources or knowledge, skills to access and use these tools?
I think our environment is so hostile to doing investigative journalism. I mean, we are in front of organized crime, narcos, paramilitaries, and there is a explosive cocktail in countries like Colombia or Ecuador or Venezuela that really make the job of a journalist a risky job. I think that is not the kind of thing that you are facing in United States or in Sweden or in Norway. I think that is the difference between what happened in the United States and Europe, that they are going fast in technology and really doing amazing things. Sometimes for me, it's more a fancy thing. It's like, and this is moving in that way and in the other way. And we are doing this, and this. But we are going to the beginning. The start point is why you are doing this. and what is the real problem that you are solving. And I think that in Colombia and in South America, but in my case in Colombia, we are really facing a real problem, and we are using the AI for this.
So you don't see any disparity in a way. So you don't see that if you would be a newsroom in the US, you would move faster and do things and have access to cutting edge technology, better access, or it's not an issue. Is it an issue or it's
There is an issue because the technology is made in English. So there is a language bar, you know? For instance, there is a Google launch application to generate podcasts. And it's an amazing tool, but it's only in English. We can do it in Spanish. It's an equality because if I want to introduce that in Colombia with Cuestión Pública in my newsroom, I cannot create a podcast automatically in English because my audience is in Spanish.
I think it's a matter of months when they will introduce Spanish and some other main languages.
Exactly. But I think language is a barrier. The second one, it's money because AI is expensive.
The other question I am really kind of interested in terms of AI in journalism, what is the common mistake or misperception of AI and storytelling among the newsrooms and journalists? Misperception, because one, you said that people don't ask about what kind of problem we want to solve, one, but I'm sure there are other misperceptions about using or not using AI-powered tools in the journalism context.
I think it's the overconfidence in AI. They can stop to keep an eye on the output of the content. AI is just an assistant. They are not going to make their job for you. The huge mistake of everyone is the overconfidence in the tool.
And what are the questions that we're not asking about AI and the aspects of the issues that we're not thinking about?
I think we talk about ethics, and that's the main issue, really. But there is no easy ways to explain how ethics can make a turn point in this industry. I mean, I think for journalism, ethics is that you are not going to publish everything straight from the AI. You always will have a human filter for what is coming from the AI. And sometimes some editors don't see in the same way. The other thing is to really announce that you are using AI. And for me, we are not approaching ethics issues in an easy way that every citizens understand why we have to regulate or to be involved in regulation regarding AI, not only for media industry, but for everyone.
Cuestión Pública, do you have ethical AI guidelines?
We are building an AI politic because we need it, but it's under construction.
Good. And it has to be always under construction in a way because things change so fast and you need to update your guidelines as well, I think.
Yeah.
As an investigative website, you, of course, deal a lot with mis and disinformation. Let me first ask you kind of philosophical question. Is there a way to fight misinformation and disinformation in a systemic and foundational way? Because often when you fact check a lie, that's just highlighting the story to more people.
This is a problem of fact checkers, that media that only focus in fact checking. And for instance, in our investigations, we are doing investigative journalism, and every investigation of Cuestión Pública has a stage of fact checking. So everything that is published in Cuestión Pública, even in social media, we have a fact checker for this. This is our stamp as media. If Cuestión Pública say that, it's because it's verified 100%. I think for verification, for information that has been verified, you need new formats, and it's not the regular format. This is true because blah, blah, blah. This is false because one expert once say. That's all working like 10 years ago. But now you don't arrive to the audience with that kind of information. People don't read that. It's not interested in that. People want new ways. Cuestión Pública, for instance, has the fact checker women. This is a AI avatar, and it's a consultant for politicians. I mean, she is a woman from the north of the country, the Caribbean. She speaks with a Caribbean accent, and they really is a consultant for the politicians, saying, don't say that, you know, you can make you trouble with if you mentioned this. Why don't say this? Because you know the truth. The truth is, you know.
So it's kind of entertaining. It's an entertaining way to
exactly. It's an entertaining way, and this is fact checking. It's fact checking, and there are facts and you know events and everything is fact checked.
Is it a human fact checker? It's a real woman, or it's an AI?
The face is an AI, but all the journalism is human doing it.
Okay. Okay.
It's a human. It's our journalist.
Claudia, do you have any good, bright, recent examples you can share with us regarding the use of AI tool in helping to identify and tackle disinformation?
Yes, I like this tool from Prisa. This is a verification of audio in Spain. There is another one in El Clarín, Argentina, with Walter, AI tool that use also RAC as Cuestión Pública to create content, automate the creation of articles. Those two tools, I think that they are, and also another example in Venezuela for the last elections, you know, journalism was persecuted and they went to jail for covering the elections and saying that Maduro has concerns regarding the votes and everything. So they create avatars in AI, Conectas, a platform of journalism in Latin America. They create avatars telling to citizens the truth, because journalists couldn't go on TV. You know, they can put their faces because government will go for them to their houses and put it on the jail. So this was a really nice, a really clever way.
And you know, it strikes me that in the West, it could be done sometimes as an experiment, as a fun thing. But in Venezuela, it's a life and death situation, right? So you have to cover your face because the consequences can be really lethal.
Yeah, I think that was 100 Venezuelan journalists that was in jail after the protests and the election. They couldn't even send exchange message in WhatsApp.
But interesting, I'm thinking now that when we talk about trust, and people do not trust media, don't trust journalists, and especially now with a flood of AI generated content, people don't even know, you know, what is this, what to trust, what not to trust. But maybe in the nearest future, because of that flood of AI generated content, the human produced content will be more valued.
Exactly. That's why journalism have to change the skin, but don't the essence. I mean, the way for what journalism exists, because that is irreplaceable.
There is no doubt that AI is changing our lives and it's changing our industry, changing journalism. Do we as journalists have any agency to influence the way AI is transforming our profession?
I think the best thing that we can do as journalists is ask to the key players of AI, the big tech companies, transparency in the algorithms. That's the best way to help to the ecosystem, because this transparency will help the citizens, will help the everyone, because we need to know who has the power in AI, who has the data, who has the data.
We have asked, as industry, we have asked these questions for the last at least 10 years. We never got any answers. We don't even know the algorithm behind Google search. They do not disclose.
Exactly, but we need to make alliances with civil social organizations. I know that they don't answer, but we have to keep pushing, because that's, I mean, transparency is the answer for me. and journalism have to do something, and maybe to stop to think individually as I'm a one media outlet and start to think collectively. I think that's another thing that is lacking in our industry. We are so individual interest, and we are not thinking in a collective way.
I have last blitz questions. Short question, short answer. Without thinking, just answer.
Yeah.
What are your three dominant emotions about the rapid development of AI? Emotions, not thoughts.
Emotions. I'm really excited about AI. I mean, it's something that really made me happy to see how it's progressing and all the things that we can do. It's excitement, it's a curiosity, it's fear. But I think that there is a huge world out there to explore.
What is your most exciting AI-related project right now? You talked about Odín. Maybe you work on something else now. In one sentence, the most exciting AI-related project.
I think it's Odín in an evolution. I mean, when I found the money to evaluate Odín and bring it to the final status as an imagine, that will be, this is my precious project, and I would like to spend more time and more of my brain and ideas to develop it.
Future of journalism, how would you describe it in 3 words?
I think it's gonna change its name. I think it's gonna be more close to another industries. Yeah, less isolated. There's gonna be take learnings from industries like I don't know, technology, or industries completely different, even from marketing or other kind of industries, then will help journalism to adapt it to the new context.
Claudia, thank you so much for your thoughts and your time. I'm inspired by what you do, and I wish you all the strength, all the luck, and more money to achieve whatever dream you have for journalism, which will not be called journalism in the near future, but essence will remain, right? The essence will be there. This was Claudia Báez, a co-founder of Cuestión Pública. I hope you enjoyed this episode of AI Fluent with me, Ilona Vinogradova, and feel a bit less alone in your everyday newsroom struggles. This podcast was produced by Love & Films Pro Media Lab. If you would like to hear more, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I hope you'll join me next time. Until then, take good care of yourself, and remember, your stories do matter.